My guests this morning are here to talk about the Young Women in Leadership Forum. This is being organized by the Youth Without Borders Ghana. And the theme, I like the theme, be bold for change. Be bold for change. So my guests are a couple of young women, in leadership. One I've met, Ms. Hannah Akwa, Managing Director, TKC Africa. As well, there's Miss Linda Ansong. She is the co-founder and executive director of STEM Bees organization. I know she's an IT expert. So STEM Bees here would be acronym STEM for Science, Technology, Engineering and Math.
Exactly.
Bees. Okay, you tell us what that's about. Good morning and happy Women's Day.
Good morning. Happy Women's Day to you.
Thank you. There's a question I've been asking every woman this morning. If you had things your own way, if you had your own way, would you come back to this life as a woman, Hannah?
Yes, definitely. Yes, I love being a woman.
Why?
Because I can do everything a man can do.
You can't make yourself pregnant.
Well, that's true. But that's when
a market woman drew our attention to that this morning.
You need two people for that, and that's when you have your partner and you're married.
Yes.
But as an individual, as a woman, I just love it. I just love the challenges, and it's amazing how I can multitask. I think that's one thing I like
that women
about
can
being
do. That's one thing women can do.
I see myself.
Yes.
It's not good. I shouldn't say when I drive, but
you don't text and drive, do you?
No, not at all. But definitely when I'm home and I had the TV on and doing this and this, I'm just multitasking. I'm like, wow, I've managed. I've done so much today.
Yeah.
So, and then you pat yourself on the back and you pamper yourself.
Go, woman. All right, Linda, how about you? Would you come back as a woman?
I don't think I can imagine myself as anything but a woman.
But
it's amazing what women can do. I've been working with men almost all my life, and I think women are amazing in terms of we're able to, I know this is a bit cliched, but we're able to give birth and do business at the same time.
That's
Sometimes
right.
I try to imagine a man doing that, and I don't think they can.
Oh.
They are amazing, but they're not as wonderful as we are, so I don't think I can.
Okay.
How about yourself?
No, I'm not answering that question. For good reason, because I'm going to center on challenges that women face, especially Ghanaian women face. But, despite comprising, over 50% of the population, this is even worldwide, women are still very much underrepresented as voters, as elected politicians or political officials, etc. And this is in every region of the world. It's not peculiar to this part of the world.
Yeah.
I was mentioning this morning, early on in the program, when Ban Ki-moon was just about wrapping up his tenure, he, of course, was an election to get his successor, and there were 4 women in the running to becoming that. I was hoping against hope that one woman would emerge, the new UN chief. It just so happens that it didn't happen. The die was cast and it wasn't in the favor of a woman. Do you think the world appreciates the role and contributions of a woman?
I think we still have a ways to go, but I think the first thing we need to do as women, and I have a very strong mother, so I think that's why I've been blessed to know how it is to love being a woman. But if we can train more women or empower more women to be content in who they are, and then you can, from your inside out, know yourself and then be passionate. I mean, I just loved listening to the bus driver who was a woman. You could see she was driving the bus with passion, and she said, I've been yearning to be a bus driver for. So I'm like, if we can just find these little things within us, and then you just allow the woman to become that, you see it's a better place, because when you work in anything you do in passion, it's different than being obliged to do it.
But doesn't it matter that, just by virtue of being born a girl, society places some hurdles, I suppose, your way, some obstacles your way? Because you see, just by virtue of our makeup, our constitution as women, we put to birth. We're the primary caregivers for our relatives, our infant relatives, our elderly, the young ones, etc. So for most women, especially when it comes to progressing in their careers, they might have to do this on a part-time basis, or they might have to put this on hold to take care of families. Meanwhile, their male counterparts are going full-time. That right there makes it an uneven playing field. How does this not affect us as women?
You're very right. Actually, when she was talking, I was thinking, I think there's a lack of enough role models for women.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing I face a lot in my field. When you think about someone who's an engineer, if I tell someone to describe an engineer, 90% of the time you're going to draw a man who's wearing a lab coat or something. And that is because we have a lot of women who are doing amazing things, but they're doing it in the dark.
That's right.
Or there isn't somebody who is pushing them out there and saying, this woman is doing amazing things. For a little girl who is somewhere to see, oh, I can do this too, because this woman has done it. So yes, there are some obstacles that naturally come our way, but that should not be a stumbling block, because there are women who have done it and who are excelling at it. So that makes us, I think, extraordinary, because even though we have these hurdles in our way, we are also able to succeed. So I think if we have these women out there as role models for girls, it would tell them that even though there are these obstacles, it is never enough reason for you not to pursue what you want to do.
And even if you could say, if you take it back to government, and this is something I'm just putting out there, I know, they say in America, and I'm sure around the world, that a lot of women, their paychecks are less than men.
It's true.
You know, I know they were trying to balance.
Women earn 72 cents to every dollar in my hands in the US.
So I'm hoping in time, and maybe with more women in politics or in leadership positions, as you said, who can also steer the conversation, Moon, even you, because you have this amazing platform that can bring us and other young women to also expose themselves. But maybe there could be a special tax for women where it's less. You know, because women do contribute so much more to the household, so much more to education. We are always at the forefront in making sure our children are educated or our children get the best. I'm not saying men are not, but we put extra concern there. So it would be nice if you see a woman juggling being a wife, being a mother, and then also working, whether it's her own business or working in corporate or whatnot. Maybe they should also have a reduced tax for me. I think that would be a universal thing, since they already give us less salaries sometimes. And some people are not strong enough or bold enough to speak out. You know, we have to speak out all the time because we're in fields dominated by men. But,
and this is particularly to you, Linda, because you're in a field of work that's really steeped in male influence. You're in science, technology, engineering, and math. You used the statistics that if you asked about an engineer, most likely 90% would paint the picture of a man. Absolutely. I mean, even in the professional culinary world, where you would expect women to be at the helm of affairs, the world's top chefs are men. But how do you cope in such a field of work so steeped, deeply steeped in male influence?
I think personally, my mother's my role model, and she has made me believe that my gender has got nothing to do with what I can do. So it has never been an obstacle for me. I think I'm loud. I have a very huge, how would I put it?
In a very pleasant way. In a very pleasant way.
I actually started a software company with 3 guys. And it was amazing. I always had to fight them when it came to decisions. And it has never been a problem for me. I would tell you my mind. I would give you facts to back what I have to say. So you have nothing really to say. And it is kind of difficult, because, you know, men do have egos. So sometimes it's hard for them to accept that a woman knows more than they do. But I think it's about self-confidence and doing your homework. Because as women, yes, we do have these problems. So what we have to do as women is to know our facts, to do extra work. Don't come to work and think, oh, because I'm a woman, I'm going to be given special treatment, and
like the bus driver.
Exactly. So you come and you become mediocre. I think that's one of the problems women face. We end up becoming mediocre because the men say, "Oh, she's a woman. You're good for a woman." You know, I hate that statement so much. If someone should say it to me, I could die. Because what do you mean by you're good for a woman?
We have to touch on the firm, but I have to ask this, you know, because a lot of people make mention of the fact that women are their own enemies. I'm beginning to disagree, because, you know, I think that it's just women who have some complex, who are inferior, and, you know, they just work against their colleagues. But I tell you, yesterday I gave this personal example. I was to, you know, shoot a promo promo with a couple of guys, 2 guys actually, for a TV program. Okay, so all 3 of us are very qualified. We've been to school. We have a first degrees, we have a second degrees, etc. So the 2 men, for one had to, for the promo, had to go through like a slew of newspapers, look very serious, you know, doing some research work and all. And then the second guy had to be going through his electronic device, also looking like he's doing some, you know, serious research work. And then the director of the promo, of the shoot, who is a woman, tells me that I'm the woman on the show. So I'm like to be, you know, to be objectified, sort of. So I should come in very long hair and very well manicured nails and flip my hair. This was what literally, this is what the script said I should do. Okay, so the rebel in me came up. I yanked off my nails that day. I wore like the most unflippable hair ever. I wore a fro. You know, I just had to go against that directive because it was just incredulous. How many women can stand up to these standards that society seems to set for us? Quickly, how can we do that? As women, this director I'm talking about was a woman. So how do we do that? If women can't network and come against, you know, the obstacles that impede our progress, how do we make it? How do we do it? Quickly.
Wow.
I know you're both like very shocked.
I'm shocked, but I'm very happy that you I said went against.
Oh, I saw went
because like women, we are humans first of all, and we are diverse, and we should appreciate ourselves just like as humans. But we should appreciate ourselves and not really be objectified. We are already objectified. I mean, with a figure and assets, we are already objectified. But that should not be the main issue. No, this is the main issue, as you said. This is the main issue, and this is what God has given everyone, man or woman, and it's for your choice to use it and to use it well.
I'm so glad I rebelled that day.
I
was so rebellious.
I'm so
proud of you.
Thank you. I was proud of myself for doing that. My nails were so tacky that day. I didn't paint. I mean, like, I just totally went.
Did they just keep this side of the like?
They had to do, and then guess what they said, and give us a seductive smile. I said, I don't know how to seduce. I haven't even seduced any man before. But quickly, there's a program, so it's the forum, the Young Women in Leadership Forum. It's holding today. Where?
Yes, at GIMPA, the GEC, the GIMPA Executive Conference Center.
Yes, and you're both speakers.
Yes, we're on the panel.
Yes, what time is it starting?
1 p.m.
At 1 p.m. Okay, and all are invited?
Yes,
is it a ticketed event? It's
free forum. There'll be 2 other panelists too. We have Beatrice. She's a former, she's a law student, but she's also a former YALI, that's Young African Leaders Initiative alumni. And then we have
and then there's the Member of Parliament for Ablekuma North. I think she'll be there. Yes. All right. Many thanks. And well, pleasure talking to you both. Happy Women's Day again. Miss Linda Ansong, STEMBI's organization co-founder and executive director, as well as Miss Hannah Akwa, managing director, TKC Africa. Happy Women's Day.
Thank you.